So back on the Sentinel, the cover for the high voltage had wax drippage right here, and it's that capacitor right there. You can see the bulge of wax from it. So we're going to go underneath here and take a look. This is what I was trying not to put off, but this has to be done. There's quite some production changes in this area. I'll show you as I've downloaded the SAMs for the Sentinel, but it's also the same as the airline over here, and there are differences, and mine is more like the airline over here, like production changes. I'll show you what I mean. Now again, we haven't checked the outputs of the seleniums here. I've ordered some diodes to replace them with, but if you look at the difference here, here is the airline on the right, and this is the Sentinel on the left. You see the absence of quite a few capacitors here. There's low B plus, mid B plus, and high B plus, or something like that in these. But in any event, I think we're more like this one over here, and I'm told this is the cap that's, one of these two here. Is that 85 that's leaking? It's right near the 6X5. So I'm told to change a couple of these at any event. So I'll have to look at my notes to see what capacitors I was told to change, but we're going to change all of these actually, but 86, 85. One of these are high voltage. Let's take a look and see which version we have. So I'll take these screws out of here. I'm really not looking forward to this. I think we have quite a few capacitors in there. Okay, I'm definitely the 7 capacitor version here. We're this version, the airline version. We're not that version there. And there's a couple of those 6,000 volt caps. Looks like 0.001. I believe those are the disc capacitors again that we've purchased. So I'm going to have to look at this schematic for 85 and 86, and then we're going to go through and change all 7. And this is not conducive to working on. Tight quarters in there. We're going to see what we can do. I'm going to have to make some kind of a prop here out of wood to hold this chassis, because I don't want anything against the tube. I don't know what I'm going to fabricate here, but I want this chassis to be... I don't want this tube under any strain at all. Okay, I'm looking at 2 diagrams. This is the airline version. We also have what the owner provided was a Sentinel version. And there are differences, namely this here where it says C note. And a couple of picofarad caps here off of the filament of the 1B3. Whereas ours is more like this one. There's 85 and 86, those 0.01 separated by 100K. Okay, some focus here. The 0.01s we're speaking of is right here and right here. And it has some capacitors here. If you look at the Sentinel one, those capacitors aren't here. This portion's pretty much the same, except there is a coil here and 2 capacitors there. Okay, so this section here is a bit different. So horizontal and vertical controls, which are referenced over here. Well, anyway, we're going to go by the airline diagram and change those 2, and probably quite a few others. Okay, so these 3 here, 88, 89, and 90 are right here. They're 0.01s. I think they said 1200. I'll check that. And we know about 85 and 86, so now we're just going to check 82 and 83 over here. 82 and 83. Here's 82 a 0.1 and 83 3.1. So 2.1s, 3.01s, and then the 2.01s at the 6,000 volts. I'm going to put the disc caps in there. Okay, I made a little prop here out of wood, and I put a little piece of styrofoam there to just, don't want any weight on the chassis, so kind of just hold the chassis so I can work on it here, and we'll get into changing some of those capacitors. I'll deal with the other side when I get there. I'm going to take a picture of where all these wires go. Okay, we've got all but one capacitor changed. That's because I don't have another 0.01 at 1200. I may put a disc cap in there for now, but you can see I have that one, that one, that one, and that one. And I've used those 6,000 volt discs for the C80, 85 and 86. So one more to go, and then we'll be able to button this back up and try it. Oh, and this 47 ohm resistor needs to be changed. It reads about 100 ohms. That resistor 33 reads about 37. I'm going to leave it. The 33K also reads about 37. I'm not too worried about that. And the 220K here reads oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. That 220K reads about 3 meg. So that's going to have to come out of there. And again, this 47 ohm is reading about 112. Okay, 3 more components to go. Okay, we've got all the capacitors changed. The 47 ohm, I had to put in a quarter watt because I'm out of a half watt 47 ohm, but this is just for testing purposes. It's still better than 100. Again, all 7 capacitors have been changed. That 2.2, I called it 220K as it looked red, yellow, but it's actually on the schematic. That must have been a green that's faded because it's a 2.2 meg. So reading 3 meg, it doesn't bother me. I left it in there. I may replace it in days to come. Now, for now, what we're going to do is we're just going to turn it on and see what it does. See if we get any more raster out of it. We'll put our I just want to see what we have for. Watch it as it turns on, and we'll dim the lights. And good news is we're pretty much the same. We have a little less of that still some 60 cycle in there. There is a capacitor we have not changed yet. I would like to I really would like to see what these controls do. That's horizontal. Mind you, the screen goes this way. So this is what we're looking at. It's the vertical I can't seem to get. Let's focus again. Yeah, so we're not getting full. That's pretty good. It's about, yeah, it's still only about half a picture. Let's get a signal in here perhaps and straighten that tube out a bit. Not exactly 100 watts. Okay, so what we're experiencing is the way it's in the cabinet is like so. We have half a picture. The bottom half of the screen is not filling. So capacitors are not always the answer, although that needed them. So let's put a signal in here, see what we get. Okay, before I feed a signal, let's take a look at what's going on here. The 6 SL7s are vertical output. It must be half the screen and the other half of the screen. There's still two culprits. C70 we haven't changed, and I've only changed one of these two capacitors, which I thought were the horizontal capacitors, but they're actually the vertical, C71 and 72. 71 and 72. These two. 71 and 72. But this 70 under here is a culprit too. C70 right there. And I only, mind you, I only changed one of these. I did not change C71. We did not change C71, which feeds this plate over here. So 71 and 70 we may replace and see what happens. Okay, and this one was, like I said, replaced some time ago. It was pigtailed between there and this resistor right here, this 470. I want to say 470K, but that's green. 47 meg, 4.7 meg. Oh, anyhow, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to change this one eventually, but I'm just curious to see if this brings our full height back if I replace the replacement sprig. Okay, we've changed that one capacitor, and let's see what it does if that gets our picture back full. It's definitely different. We're still not filling the screen though. Just a little rollover. It's better, but it's not cured. Okay. Now we have a not filling the screen issue. We'll go in and change that other capacitor. Now, as I'm about to change that capacitor, I have some of these, yellow no-name .1 at 630s, and I have a Sprague here, new old stock, but not very old. I'm told these capacitors may not hold up with the pulses of television, so just as a safe measure, I'm gonna put the Sprague in there. These are okay for audio and whatnot, I'm told, but the pulses of the television may be too much for these capacitors. I don't know about that, but anyway, let's go ahead and replace that. There's one of the cap here that's suspicious to me, and that's this. I was looking for it. 69, C69. This, it says 1 microfarad right here off the cathode. Like a little booster cap, so to speak. It's a 20 at 25. Took in this 18K. These need to be checked, but I don't know. We may replace that and check that resistor, but let's try it with this capacitor changed. Right, this one right here. Okay, this time we're hoping for full screen here. I have no vertical there. Better check that. Take 2 now, but everything appears correct. Okay. Again, not much difference there. I would suspect power supply, but no, because the way it's acting, it doesn't seem like a power supply type issue. The horizontal is filling out, but the vertical is not. I don't have another tube to try. Okay. I'll try some more. Try that electrolytic. Well, now we have another little discrepancy. This looks like it was in there originally, 2825. Appears to be electrolytic. It's marked negative, and it has plus, plus, plus all on this end going to the tube. And then that's the way it's drawn in the diagram. Cathode bypass, it says, but it says 1 at 200 volt. I'll put a 1 at something electrolytic in there and see what happens. Now this is the SAMs on that set. The other factory service manual was no help at all, and the SAMs is even a different. A third difference is it does show a 20 microfarad across a 22K like we have. So, and that's called C10. So I will put a capacitor in there. But what's funny, yeah, okay, the case caps are the same. It's a little drawn a little different here. But okay, here's our vertical size. And this is what we're talking about that's different right here. There's another discrepancy in the diagrams here, and it concerns the oscillator and the output. One of them says the 6SL7 is the output, which belongs over here, and the 6SN7 belongs in there. You can't read what that says there, but V15, the outside of the chassis, V15 says vertical amp 6SL7, so that should be out there, and V14 is the vertical oscillator 6SN7. So could that be our problem? But if you look at another diagram, this is from the bottom view, it shows the SN7 outside and the 6SL7. So this thing is just all over the place, calling this the oscillator. Okay, they're both wired the same, so I've gone ahead and switched them, and I've added that capacitor on the bottom. So we're going to try it one more time. The gain is a little different on this. This has a little more gain. They're both triodes. They both have the same pinout. Well, let's give it a try. I really want to finish this up. So here goes. Okay, we're going to have a cord first. So this time we've added the capacitor, the electrolytic, and switch the SN7 with the SL7. Okay, we're warming up. Be curious to see. Very little vertical deflect. for vertical deflection. Okay, we're going to try it. Put the tubes back where they were originally. Although it conflicts with what the diagrams say. And there we are, back to our sweep the way it was. Alright, more capacitors before we troubleshoot any further. This is just so confusing. So, back on the airline, V14 and 15. 14 is on the outside of the chassis. Okay, and V14. Oh, come on, I get the page ready here. V14 V14 is the 6SN7 outside, and 15, the amp, is the L7. V15, and that's the way ours is, V15 right there. So I'm going to leave it. That's the amplifier, that's the oscillator. I don't feel the oscillator will make the picture shrink. Maybe we'll do voltage measurements now, and let's feed it a signal just to wrap things up.
Big deal for a first date.
Okay, I'll leave this here.
That's a huge deal. Thank you for having me. Emily is a bright-eyed puppy. Everything is...
That's a signal.
She's got so much to learn still. I think it could go like one of two ways.
And later. I am just overwhelmed with emotion right now. Thought it was going to be clear, and it's just, I don't know what to do.
I'm feeling really scared because, I don't know, something feels off.
That's the top letterbox. The bottom has fold over.
For your chance to date the next bachelor or bachelorette, come to one of our open casting calls. For more information, go to abc.com/casting.
Good morning, sunset. Good morning, night. Good morning, neon, shining bright. Good morning, hunger. Good morning, stars. Good morning, people who just left bars. Good morning, gamers. Good morning, moon. Good morning, morning, which will be starting soon.
One word
Single. Single. Single.
is on everyone's minds. Okay.
How many sliders does it take to equal a whole burger? I don't know, maybe 4? I've had 7.
How to be single. Rated R. Now playing.
Covering is caring, because covering heals faster. To seal out water, dirt, and germs, cover with a water block clear bandage from Band-Aid brand.
16 wide eyes. Driver's license. Took 2 tries. Bought a roaster secondhand.
Okay.
Parties with...
Okay, this is where we're going to leave this. I gotta get this vertical to fill out. I don't know where my sound went, but okay, as this thing runs, it seems to be like losing sync, and the sound is getting worse. But I'll stop here while the getting's good and start taking some voltage measurements. Okay, that'll do it for now. Just have a look at the RF chassis here. We're gonna have to check the output of that, and you can see some of these caps. That one there's blown right out. But more on this later. I'd like to get the vertical straightened out, which is over here on this chassis. That may be the power supply also. Okay, so that'll do it for now, and thanks for watching. We'll take one look at this one underneath some more, but I want to start checking the DC voltages, see if we can get that vertical up. Okay, that's it for now on the Sentinel. Okay, continuing on, we have the chassis upside down so I can work on it. What are we going to do today? Well, we're losing sync and we got buzz in the sound, and it's really falling apart the longer it runs. I've done some spot checks of the resistors and whatnot. Everything's fine. I lubricated the wafers of the controls and let that soak, so the controls are good. I want to concentrate on a couple things. One old timer told me, and he's still with us, thank heavens, the audio section of TVs has to be attended to just as much as an audio amplifier. I'm going to change probably the coupling cap here from the driver to the output. Maybe this one here. There's one under here, which is from the cathode, I believe, of the output tube. It says electrolytic, but it doesn't look it. Again, the schematics are all over the place on this thing. This is another one of those electrolytics. Looks to ground. I'm not too worried about that yet, but this one here where we start getting into the sync separator and the AGC and the sound is in here. So I'm looking at him. He's in the sync separator. I'm going to do him, and maybe possibly a few others. So these over here and these over here. I'm not going to waste time. I'm just going to replace them. And as for over here, again, this is the vertical section here. This one here is to the vertical LIN control. I may change that. I'm not too worried about it yet. Here we're going to leave the discs for now because they don't seem to be a problem. And the rectifiers, I'll check the outputs of these, but they appear okay. And we have replacements coming. I think a 1N at 4007 type will replace these okay. The resistors, spot checks, test okay. Nothing really out of tolerance, so just go with some more capacitors. And we've got some of our capacitors ready to go here. Okay, we're getting down to the last few capacitors. I've changed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8 over there. We got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This one's not on either schematic. It was a 0.01 at 1200. The only one I had was a 0.03, so I threw that in there. That's not in there, and this television doesn't have the expander switch either, but that's the horizontal output, or amplifier as it's called. And I don't know, this was added afterwards. So there's 1, 2, about 4 more to go. Every time you look, there's more. A couple mica ones here, but I want to try this out momentarily as a check. What I do before I cut the caps, I've just been taking a Sharpie and I just highlight the leads and before I cut the parts out, because it's easy to lose track. A couple of times I've had to go back and look at the diagram, but you can't always go by the diagram on these because this diagram has got so many discrepancies. So keep changing a few more out and power it up and see what it does now. And there's one resistor that's out of value over here. This 180 reads high, but I'm not going to get to that just yet. I'll power it up one more time as a quick check. Okay, nearly every capacitor is changed, just except for one electrolytic, and maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. There's still wax capacitors to replace, but we're going to try this 0.1 at 400 over there. We're going to try this out, see how we've done thus far. I want to check out the IF and the horizontal and vertical. We still have a size problem, but we have to see if this part is completed okay. So here we go. 115 volts here. Oh, we have smoke. That's not good. I hate to do this, but we're going to have to watch to see where that's coming from. No, we have nothing. Maybe residue from cleaning the tuner? Don't know. Certainly very strange. We have raster. Quite full raster too. Okay. Is our input even attached? Let's try some signal here. Oh, thank heavens, the smoke. And we're down to the normal wattage. I don't know what that was all about. Okay, signal attached. Still looks like a sync. Try some adjustments here. I have no sync. We had this problem last evening. It's our horizontal hold. Where's our vertical hold on this thing? Vertical hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this diagram is awful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th in. Okay, well, we have to troubleshoot this sync problem here. We're overloaded AGC. That's where we are at the moment. Can almost null out the buzz with the contrast control. Boy, when we powered this up, we had clear sound and a stable picture. I've got to get some better grip on these controls. Horizontal hold. It's not the horizontal hold problem, it's the sync. There's no sync. Horizontal hold. Horizontal size, I don't care. Vertical size, I don't really care either. It's vertical hold. Alright, let's see what's failing here. We're no worse than we were. Perhaps that smoke was just something from cleaning the tuner. They checked and double checked everything here. Oh, there's that one capacitor there in the back that's blown out here that I want to change. I think that's in the sync circuit, come to think of it. Okay, this is V9, our sync separator, and that tube was actually cockeyed from being upside down. It wasn't in the chassis all the way. Let me try it again real quick, but looking at the diagram real quick. It took me years to figure out on the other sets, it said vertical mult, and I never knew that was multi-vibrator. You know, no one ever explained that to me. I always thought it was multiplier or mult. You really have to get into this stuff. So what's the DC rest mean? DC restore? When you start having problems with TVs, you really got to know the science behind it. I know it's all just a tuned circuit, but there's reasons for keyed AGC and this and that. And some of you folks out there know that very well. Anyway, that cap I'm looking at in the back there, I think it's C47. I'm not sure. Let me just take a quick peek. Those two there are culprits, C61. And I didn't do that 10 microfarad yet, but on the cathode. But oh, let's take a look and see what that cap back here is. I'm talking about the one that's literally across the electrolytic right there, and the end is blown out. And that's the sync separator right there. So it goes from looks like a 3.9K. Anyway, it's jumped right across that electrolytic, which is kind of strange. Which again, the diagram may not show. The one we want to look at is what's on pin 1 of that tube, and these sockets are real hard to see. It's this one here, the 0.1. This 0.1 right here hasn't been changed yet. And a 0.05 from the plate to 100K. 0.05 from the plate. Maybe that's, I don't know. This schematic and between these diagrams, it's really, this is one of the toughest sets I've ever worked on for such a simple little set. Nothing follows anything. 100K. 22K. 2.2K. I don't see a single 100K there. 22K across the 10 microfarad. That goes to ground. Okay, well, the heck with this. Let's just replace it. It's bad anyway. We'll do some more research. Okay, the last little section here. There's a few to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check again here. I put one of these pencil. This was a 10 at 250 or something like that. But there's a that's like a, I'll have to look at the value. But that's a at least that. That's like a 30 at 450 or something. Okay. Okay. So we have no shorts. Hopefully. Turn our power on here. Watch our watts again. Make sure there's no smoke. Turn it on. I'm going to plug it in first. Like I said, the sink separator was crooked in the socket. It's in good. Okay, and so here we go. Draws a lot at first. No smoke there. That was the strangest thing. Those are the AC safety capacitors. We'll be changing them like last. I'd like sync, please. Well, we have a negative picture. The sync seems better. A little bend to the picture there. We have sync. They look pretty good. No, a little. Let's kill this light here. Well, there goes our sync again. Oh, is that the stupid converter box there or what? Okay. Our sound is off a little bit, but this is a lousy converter box I'm running too. Oh, let's get a better station.
Big announcement.
Okay, I adjusted my
Very professional, Punch.
RF
See you, Gross.
my RF unit there, and made some adjustments to the video and whatnot, and I seem to have cured most of that issue I was having there with the sound, so the sound is good. I don't remember how good this tube tested. Of course, these weren't very bright anyway, I guess. Still getting used to the contrast. Okay, so well, just when I start filming, it does a little bit of that sync stuff, but all in all, it's playing pretty good.
Oh, I just remembered. Matt is on Me TV.
We'll miss you in our hearts. And in the shower.
Boy, watching Hawkeye drink them martinis just makes me want a beer.
Tonight at 7, 6 Central on BTV. Winning
Okay.
over 1,800 TripAdvisor certificates of excellence.
Test the power supply and maybe replace a few of those caps next. So far so good, it's coming together.
Stay 2 separate times and get a 25%
Thanks for watching.